on site for them to go through and do their bid guarantees, their bid bonds. They've got costs associated with that. That's where they put those costs in there.
You gotta pay them $27,000 to show up?
Typically, what we look at is percentages of the overall project, and we will see anywhere, in the past 2 years, I've seen anywhere from 2% to 10%. And that's just a standard bid item for every contract that you're gonna see bid through the federal process. And also it helps the contractor cover their, because there are additional costs with the FAA from extra paperwork that I require from them, and so that helps them get that, make sure that they're providing that proper paperwork as well.
I know you weren't involved with it, but 4 years ago, we okayed a building. And somehow or another, it got canceled. But that was a $250,000 building, and this is smaller. And it's $100,000 more money. That's $25,000 a year inflation.
Now, which type of building, what type of building was it?
Snow removal building.
Okay.
But it was a larger building than this.
Okay. I'm not sure what had been in this building, what it's gonna have. It's gonna be fully insulated. It'll have heat and water all in it, so I'm not sure what was in that other building as far as amenities and stuff like that. Based on local bids that I've seen last summer for buildings I did, I think the price estimate is very reasonable to match those costs, the local costs that we've seen in the area as well.
Let me see.
Is there some way to, and maybe it doesn't really make a difference, but is there some way to go back and do a comparison of what the bids were before and what what we were going to get for 250,000 versus 360,000? I mean, it seems like a big jump to me too.
Okay, and I haven't seen those plans from 4 years ago. That could be definitely something we could do if you look at those plans and see what was involved with those and look at that cost estimate at that time. Did you receive bids for that building and then just didn't build it? Or is that the cost estimate?
No.
I don't know.
Story goes that
No.
we approved it here at the council. That was a year before I was here. I called every council member that I could think of, and they all come up with the same story, that it was approved, and the grant was everything but written, and the building was everything but coming down the road, and our city manager at the time, for whatever reason, we don't know yet, called Kansas City and canceled it.
Okay.
So we haven't got that far yet, but I'm going to dig into that a little further. But here's something I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, we got fences, you're talking about driving through, so that would be eliminating the back fence. Here it says remove and salvage the fence. You want $1,700 for that. And then it says reinstate salvage fence.
Yeah, if you
$34.20 for that.
Yep. And what that involves is right now, so if we put the FAA requires the security perimeter, we have to keep that gate, that fence, so there's no hole in that fence for people to get onto the airport. So if we do that alternate, which would be putting a gravel access road from, pull up my plan, I can show you.
Okay.
On sheet 5 would be, I don't know if you have your plans with you.
No, I don't have.
Well, what it will be, it'll be moving the first bid item, number 19, you talked about the remove and salvage. So that's removing the fence and having the contractor remove it in such a manner that we can actually reuse it. And then the next item is reinstalling that fence. But they can only reinstall pretty much the fabric and the top post. We're going to be putting in new posts, new tension wires, and new ties everywhere. So those are what those two items are. It's taking the fence out and then putting it in its new location to make sure that we still have that security perimeter around the airport.
But what happened to the idea of driving through? You can't go through the fence.
It would be there, the base bid, so what the FAA is eligible, the building will be inside the fence 100%. If we do add alternate, to add the drive-through, we're gonna move the fence so it hits the buildings on the sides, so you can still drive through it.
So there won't be that $3,420 or $3,420.
If we do the drive-through, yes, there would be, because that's the drive-through one is where we move the fence. Here, I can show you how we look on this guy. So here is the existing terminal building, and here's your access road.
Right.
So if we build the building, we're going to put a new fence in right here and take it out along here. So we're going to take out this fence and then just put it right there, so that way they can pull through.
Okay.
Yep, so that's the difference.
All right. And then I think grass seed must have went up quite a bit too since I've done
And
that.
part of the reasons why it's higher too on an airport is the FAA is recommending that we go to hydraulic mulch. If you've ever seen when they spray some of the new places where they actually spray and it's a green, kind of looks like a mush that they're spraying out, that's what the FAA recommends, because what that does is it helps eliminate blowing of normal like hay that you put over mulch.
Right.
There's no hay blowing on the airport, which could be sucked into an engine.
But
So
there's mulch on here also, $1,400 for mulch, but $2,100 for grass
Yeah, and
seed.
what it is there's a hydraulic mulch and a seed that come together, and so when you add those two, they increase the price. So yes, you do need both of those items, but they're put on at the same time.
Boy, that grass seed went up terrible.
Yeah. I agree, and also one of the issues of why you have such a high price on seed is because we have such a small area, because we're doing less than an acre. Most of the time, to get a seeding contractor in, they're going to charge you X amount just to come onto the site, no matter how large of an area you're doing.
I see you've got crushed rock down there 3 different times, and you've used 3 different languages. It makes it appear it's 3 different products, but actually it's the same thing. Isn't it?
Which ones are we talking? Say the
Oh, I
rock
would say-
construction entrance.
I'd
So
say it
what
was 7, 6, and
and number
15.
Yes, what that is number 6 is the rock construction entrance. That is required by the DNR to, when trucks leave the site, they have to have a gravel pad to leave before they enter the pavement to help get that mud off their tires. So that's that rock. So it's a specific size of rock that's required by the DNR. The next one, number 7, is the crushed aggregate base course. That is rock that goes under your pavement that gives your concrete